Have you ever wondered what is the difference between a spirit and a soul? I'm about to explain from my perspective. But again, I already know people is going to copy me. So just remember, I'm the first to bring out these points. And be aware of our enemies. They'll copy me and tell you half truths. And the fake spiritualists. They're all talk with no explanation at all because they have no understanding of what they're even talking about. So first, you must understand that everything is energy, including us, meaning everything is a toroidal field. As I showed my Black Sun video, the Earth looks like this, and we are on the flat plane of inertia, hence the reason why positive and negative energy can exist here. So the top part is heaven, which is the positive energy. The bottom part is the underworld, which is the negative energy. Now imagine this being your body, which is your aura. The top part is your spirit, which is a star in heaven. This is where your energy comes from, chosen ones. The bottom part is your soul, which is your ego. This also works on lower levels, such as gender, because obviously we are made completely different. Man, which is masculine energy, is the positive energy. Woman, which is feminine energy, is the negative energy. This is the only reason we can create with each other. Also the reason why men are supposed to lead, because we have a stronger spirit that is connected to God in heaven, while women have a stronger soul that is more connected to the underworld. So anything below the plane of inertia is in the underworld territory, meaning they are allowed to manipulate things, as we see they're doing right now in order to keep control. But they need our consent because we are the fallen angels of man, or you have the bloodline of the fallen angels of man. The reason being is because we control reality. This is why they coerce us to do things, like signing contracts. So I did a quick drawing to give you an example of how the earth looked like before the war and versus what the war caused. As you can see, heaven up top, underworld's on the bottom. But on the second one, I include the black hole, the abyss, the eye of Horus. So this is where positive, negative energy can exist at, which is where we're at. So the fallen gods are here, along with the highest forms of beings of the underworld, such as their gods and their top minions, and of course with the Elohim that helped put us here. Now I'm about to show you on Genesis how they define a spirit. So where it says, now the earth is formless and empty, darkness was all over the surface of the deep. This verse alone proves that we are in a black hole. People want to believe in the Bible so much, but when I break it down, they get scared. Then it goes on to say, the Spirit of God was hovering above the waters. Think of the top of the waters being the real plane of inertia on earth. This means all spirits reside in heaven, which is our stars. It goes on to explain how they recreated heaven on this part of the earth. But notice it called the vault, the sky, and they refer to the sky as their heaven. I have a few videos where I break all this down verse by verse, but obviously I don't have enough time to do it in this one. Now, I'm about to show y'all in the seals how to define a soul. So the 7 seals is the 7 gods, which is the 7 planets. Planets are stars and stars are spirits. Notice they say 4 living creatures, because this was the reptiles that mixed with man and earth, and this wasn't supposed to happen. Anything technically living is a spirit, has a star. So these is the 4 horsemen, which is really the 4 founding fathers. I'm gonna break that down a little later. And notice at the end when they say 2 pounds of wheat for a day's wages, 6 pounds of barley for a day's wages. This is when they started charging for our free food. And do not damage the oil and the wine, as in keeping us as slaves and not killing us all. This is the beginning of the mental enslavement. Now the 4th seal is when they introduce death. This is why we think that we die, when we don't. If you're a positive frequency being, and you can produce energy because you have a spirit, you can't die. You can only change forms. So every time you hear me mention that we fell in frequency, or that we're the fallen angels, in our language today, that would technically mean that we already died in the war. But obviously, do it feel like you're dead? Nah, because we don't die. And the 5th seal is talking about us, the chosen ones, and you should know who you are by now. So it says, I saw under Key word: alter, the souls who have been slain because of the word of God. Again, they never specific with what God they're talking about, because there is way more than one. So basically this says that only souls are down here, and the ones that know the truth wants to be avenged, meaning the chosen ones, because we already known something was wrong with all of this, because we got a connection to spirit. And the inhabitants of the earth that needs to be judged is the new races, the ones created from the fallen angels and their mixed DNA with the reptiles, because they've never been to heaven nor the underworld, only here in the black hole, the abyss. Then it further explains the people that died in this space already. It's in a whole nother area waiting to be avenged also, because they suffered another death. So they're waiting for enough of us to be killed to open the sixth seal, which is the earthquake that will collapse the matrix and force everyone to wake up. The sun turning black is us rising into the black sun, because their technology will not be working anymore, such as the towers, the chemtrails, the fake sun that NASA has a patent for. The moon will turn red as their final warning because they control it, and the stars fell to earth. Remember, I told you the stars are our spirits, which is our energy, meaning we'll have direct connection to it with no more of their interference. And if you want to believe in the Bible so much, this is what it's saying. The part where you saying, oh, people are going to get their superpowers. Bruh, it says it right here. They disconnected us from our energy, and we will be getting our energy back. You do the math. And at the end, it says the kings of earth, quote unquote, who we call the elites, will hide into caves to save themselves. Doesn't that sound like they're trying to run away from some issues they already caused? So since y'all just seen in the Bible, it said the kings of earth. The Statue of Liberty is standing on a star that represents the kings of Edom. The chain represents how they bound us to earth by our souls, which is our lower selves. And again, the 7 candlesticks represents the 7 reptile planets that took over. This is why we got 7 chakras, because we got 7 races, 7 days out of the week. I can go on all day long. And this torch represents the fake sun that blocks out the black sun, so you don't know where we are. So I'm about to give you a quick rundown. I got too much time. This is Gael, the leader of the Elohim. Y'all may know as Jacob in the Bible, or Yakub. What he really did create was a dragon, a magical dragon with the power of man. Y'all may know as Neptune, or Amon, Yahweh, or Adam, which is a freshwater dragon. He then created Mars, which is a fire dragon, a golden one at that. Y'all may know as Ra, Azazel, Marduk, or Apollo, or Alexander. He then created Uranus, which is a saltwater dragon, which is Eve, or Tiamat. Fast forward when he mixed with Earth, down the line, creating Saturn, which is Satan, Solomon, Set, and Nephthys, which is death. They are the invisible legions. They created Wepuet to open our ways, then Anubis, the guide to the underworld. On the other end, they created Jupiter and Venus. Y'all may know as Baal, Nimrod, Zeus, or King George. Also Lilith, Isis, Ishtar, Mary Magdalene, or Queen Elizabeth. They made Mercury, which is Jesus, Lucifer, or Horus, who is the guide to heaven. That's why they feel like you got your own choice to make. So check it. The spirit is your personal frequency or energy. For instance, have you ever did an experiment in class where it starts off with one sentence and they go through the whole class, right? And at the end, the sentence is completely different? It's because people have different frequencies. They literally hear different things when they hear something. Another example, I'm gonna include the ego with this one, because the ego is what's programmed here. I say we've been in the same basketball camp for years, right? So we know the same things. You know, the textbook players and the players that got their own style. The ones with their own style is playing with spirit. They put their own twist to the game, and no one can recreate it. They can try to though. The same goes with artwork. We can all be programmed the same, but our spirit is gonna make our own twist to it that no one can recreate. Just like growing up in the hood. But you end out all good because your spirit led you out, even though the soul was programmed to prevent that. Think about this. Have you ever heard someone selling their spirit? Nah, because you can only sell your soul here. The enemies literally cannot touch your spirit. The thing is, if the enemies have your soul, you cannot even connect to your spirit. This is why society is set up the way it is. Well, I'm running out of time. I gotta make a part 2.